apply, just give it another stir for a few seconds.
Okay.
I usually load up the brush pretty light the first pass.
Okay.
And usually give it one pass, depending on how it feels. You can see that there's a few grains on here that are really deep.
Right.
So they may need to take another pass.
Now you're only going in one direction here.
Correct.
And you're trying. You have to be careful, obviously, not to overbrush, or you
Yes.
might risk getting some bubbles.
Correct.
Okay.
One thing that you gotta remember is when you're applying to bare wood, that your first probably two coats, you're gonna get bubbles, and that's just the product filling in the grain and the air escaping.
It's air escaping from the cracks and crevices
Correct.
of the grain then.
Correct. I use very little pressure on a brush.
You're essentially just dragging it.
All I'm doing is dragging it.
Okay.
And then it's okay to drag the brush back across the surface to even out the coat.
Mm-hmm.
The key when you're bringing it back across the surface is no pressure on the brush.
Okay, so that way you're not pulling off material.
Correct.
You're not affecting anything underneath that you've already put down.
Correct.
Okay. Now, what about the what's called often called the wet edge? How do you manage that? And explain to the folks a little bit about the wet edge.
I brush back towards the wet edge.
What is the wet edge exactly?
The wet edge would be your edge right here, where your dry and where your product and your bare wood meet.
Okay.
And brushing back if you brush from the wet edge, I don't know if you can see it, that buildup right there. You can see that little buildup line.
Zoom in a little bit here. Yeah. Okay. I think I can see that. Yeah. There's some ripples across the surface here.
Correct. That and when you go from a wet edge to dry, that's what happens. That's why you go from your dry back to the wet edge. You don't get that.
And so you eliminate those ripples.
You eliminate that ridge.
Right. So you're essentially coming back over yourself, going from dry to wet.
Dry to wet.
Pretty much everywhere you're going now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. Is there anything else you want to throw in here, just for this little basic?
Just be mindful of the bare wood when you're on bare wood, and the air bubbles, and that you're gonna get those. It's almost inevitable that you're gonna get the air pockets that are gonna gas up out of the grain.
Are we worried about those bubbles in the
No.
long run? They'll just work their way out eventually, or is that something that we really have to be concerned about?
They'll work their way out eventually, and most of the time they will fill in with your subsequent coats.
Okay.
And if they don't, then you can just scuff it back down and continue on with your coats.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. All right. There you go. This is a very basic introduction on how to apply Bristol Finish traditional amber. Thank you.